What's going on, and welcome to the Stick Drift Podcast, a podcast for all things cars, racing games, motorsports, and more. Yes, welcome to a bonus episode of the Stick Drift Podcast. At a weird time, at a weird day, it's not Wednesday, where the norm... Is that when my normal... When do guest episodes come out? I think it's
Wednesday.
Like... Is it Wednesday? Yeah, okay. So not the normal Wednesday of a guest episode. Instead, a guest episode on a Tuesday, because this right now, the time...
Not even really a guest episode.
What's that?
It's not even really a guest episode.
No, it's not even I meant bonus episode is what I meant. Yeah. So this bonus episode of the Stick Drift Podcast is right here, right now, at Tuesday, 5 p.m. UK time, because it's a full in-depth review and talking about the newest update in the Crew 2 Season 8 US Speed Tour Cities. Thank you to Ubisoft Ivory Tower for giving us both of us early access to the update, so we can make this, as well as, for the first time, an actual... proper made video on the Stick Drift channel. That will be linked at the end of this, as well as just check out that after this, where me and Josh play the update. But this one's gonna be, obviously that one, we're looking at all the things, looking at all the cars. This one's gonna be a lot more in-depth, and again, it's gonna be a show of the kind of content, hopefully, maybe, that happens on that channel. Subscribe to that, and subscribe to this episode of the Stick Drift Podcast. Don't subscribe to this episode specifically. Subscribe to the podcast.
Channel as a whole.
Yeah, that would be preferred. And today, yes, we're going to be talking about, in the middle of the week, the US Speed Tour Cities update. The latest update in the Crew 2, one that I champion to be the last update in the game's history until we see Motorfest. And I definitely think that's the case. It's entirely speculation. I say that every time.
It's looking that way.
So, here's the thing, right? They've only ever announced seasons as, like, multiples. They've always gone, there's going to be another 3, there's going to be another 4, there's going to be another 3, we're going to go till the end of the year, another year of. They've never announced one season on its own, right? And this time around, if Motorfest is being released this year, they've only got room for one more season. And they'd have to...
What if Motorfest gets delayed?
True. If Motorfest gets delayed, I don't know if they'd bother. I think if they didn't have an extra season...
dry.
I know, yeah. If they didn't have an extra season already, I don't think they're just gonna whip one up, for sure. Maybe they'll chuck in some cars, maybe. But I don't expect, like, an actual motor pass. I don't expect any of that. Because... yeah, one, I don't see them announcing one last season, and with the kind of stuff they're doing in this one definitely seems to be like a big thing, which we will get onto.
I'll be very intrigued to see, once the Crew 2 does end, what they do with the motor pass. Are they just going to rerun them from start to finish?
Yeah, I guess we could talk about that.
The cars are buyable now,
exactly,
so is there a point?
So, only the old one, because they've still got motor passes to bring back, right? Up to Dominion Frosberg, they've still got, like, all of those to bring back. I just realized that there is a statistical likelihood that there is actually some viewers who haven't come from the SidWaj channel. I imagine they're just having
all 4 of them are loving this.
I imagine they're incredibly confused. But give me one moment. You can talk about the update for a second.
It sure is an update. I have no idea, really. I didn't really enjoy it, to be honest. The races that are there are good, and there is one race a week is good overall for the game. I just don't know if I don't like the crew or what, because I didn't enjoy it.
Right.
The endurance stuff is terrible. Absolutely tragic.
So let's begin with the first thing to talk about, and that is the theme. So this is the first time we've actually seen a Motor Pass theme return in the form of the most popular update they've ever had, the US Speed Tour, but returning in name as the US Speed Tour Cities this time around. However, you definitely mentioned that it's kind of weird that they chose to keep the same name.
Yeah.
Because it's really a unique thing.
It tarnishes it, but it's like, oh, US Speed Tour again? Really?
Because you look at it, the actual events completely different to USB Tour. USB Tour was just the borders. It was just a point to point. They were they were like the
completely different is
yeah. I'd say only in color scheme.
They're both blue.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. The theme is the only thing that combines them. You remove the color scheme, and they're totally different, right? You got point to point, just a small border, wide open areas sometimes. What's it called? Yeah, like 5-minute. Point A to point B, etc. This one is just a GP. It's just it's that kind of track. Someone said Monaco GP in one of the comments on a trailer. That kind of thing. Is British GP like this? That vibe, is it not?
No.
What's the type of racing I'm thinking of? Is it just
street
GP?
racing, really, essentially, like street circuit, but like
street circuits? Yeah,
IndyCar does it. I know from what I know. IndyCar and Formula E do street circuits fairly often.
Cars that look like that Corvette, really. Those kind of... well, I guess those race on more actual racetracks, right?
Yeah.
But city circuits, basically.
It's street circuits, but they're like real races.
Yeah. But it's unique to the USB Tour, but I guess... it's sort of a weird one, because yes, it makes it feel a bit more like a rehashing, but also, I guess it's probably because they're like, oh, I wish the game was as big as it was with the USB Tour.
They want that revenue back.
Yeah, I imagine a one tier comes down and they're like, oh, maybe we bring back the USB Tour, you know? Like, yeah.
It's like Mitsubishi bringing back the Eclipse, but it's an SUV now because they want SUV money and Eclipse name money.
Yeah,
it's a combination.
Exactly. That's what it is, right? It's a big update that will do well, but they also want the reliability of an old name, basically. And I guess that makes sense, but yeah, bringing back the USB Tour name, it's interesting for sure. And again, it's one of those ones where it's like, it's partnered with Motorflix, which I would love to see. What does Motorflix's UI look like? If I go on Motorflix, the first thing I see is a police show, and then it just goes to a stunt show. Like, not even a show, just video of a stunt series.
I have no idea.
Exactly. Like on the same streaming service is a documentary about taxiing and a hill climb racing series. Like, Motorflix, I feel like
catering for every viewer.
Yeah, exactly right. I care too much about the Crew 2's lore because I find it interesting.
The Ivory Tower don't care about the lore. So.
I care more about it than they do, frankly.
Yeah.
They did like once they did like a thing where they showed. I think it was from the chase to the game. They actually showed someone go up to a TV, turn off the chase, and then switch to the agency, which I thought that was cool because that actually leaned into the fact that it was like a show and a series and whatever.
Yeah,
it's just a weird one that now
Ivory Tower don't care.
Now Motorflix, think about this. Okay, no, I guess we'll talk about that when we talk about the island, I guess. Because from there, given the USB Tour, we talked about it a little bit. Let's talk about the events. Now, I want you, it might be hard, to straight away separate endurance, okay? Put endurance to one side. That's a hard thing to do. Endurance is an add-on. It's a separate thing. It's a whatever. The regular events, now hear me out, they're pretty good. I think I like the design. I like the visuals. They're in the major cities. You see the things around you. In the touring cars that look more like the GP cars. It's pretty cool to do. And I think that they're well laid out races.
They're interesting. Yeah, sure. And we get a good frequency of them.
That's true. Yes.
It's just... I don't like them, but... I don't enjoy playing them. I'm not going to play them for anything other than completion. There'd be a nightmare in contact PvP.
But I think a large part is I think you are just... It's the complete opposite ends. I think I'm biased towards the Crew. You're biased against the Crew.
Like, it's not like I'm biased towards another racing game. Like, what?
Like, no, not even towards a different. You're just
bad.
against the crew, really.
Yeah,
It's not like you're for, like, yeah.
Too
you're
much
like,
crew to.
Yeah. It's weird because it is just like there's no middle between us. It's just like I'm like, but it's not terrible. At least I don't.
Ultimate crew shield versus I don't know, #1 crew hater.
I don't blindly like it, right? Like I understand the criticism.
You said you like the contractor, I think, in your contractor first look. So
Okay,
says all it needs to, really.
That was the first time I got early access. Okay. And all I did was laugh a bit too much in my defense. But yeah, the regular events, I actually quite enjoy them. Obviously, comment down below for each of the things we talk about.
Regular events are like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. What do you think of all those things? So, with those regular events, now, before you go wild into them, which I know you're ready to do, actually, I'll let you talk about endurance first.
What? I don't get who they're for. Like, you actually get more money replaying the normal one 3 times than playing the endurance event once. It's about the same time.
Yeah.
If they were on different tracks, sure, I can understand it because it's a new experience. But you could just replay the normal 3-lap version 3 times.
Yeah.
I don't see why you'd ever go out of your way to play the endurance, unless it's for completion.
So I guess would you say the more issue is that they've been made their own separate event? Because, like I said, for a fix, I thought that it would have just made more sense if they just added a setting where you can just set it to a large amount.
I think the game engine would implode if they did that, to be fair.
But, like, I get what they're going for. The kind of person who plays, like, a...
They shouldn't be separate events.
Like... Yeah. I think that's where the main issue is, right, for you. Is because, like, someone who goes into, what, like, Project Cars or something, I don't know what kind of games have this, right? But, like, where they just go into a certain track, a race, and just whack the laps. Any kind of, like... Any kind of track racer, right? Where they just load into one track and just put the lap count to 20 and enjoy just going around over and over, hitting the same racing lines. It's for that audience, but I get what you mean. It's goofy having it as a separate thing when playing that separate version.
I'm gonna have to play one of those 3 times each week for completion. I'm not looking forward to it.
It's the fact that it's mainly right with even my own justification. The main issue is the fact that it's its separate version, and to play that version you make less than you would, like you said, playing. So it's 9 laps to 3 laps, but you only triple the length, only double the money. So you don't make as much money as you would just 3 times playing the... So what are you loading into a separate event just so you don't have to look at a black screen for 2 seconds?
You're never racing anyone because the AI, even on Ace, are terrible. There's no race. You're just doing a time trial, essentially.
The only mild enjoyment I had was, like I said, like I stock out the cars. So I actually, for the 10 laps, I actually spent 10 laps having to catch up slowly to an AI, just to have the goofy AI physics ram me, rubber band, all of that, when I'm actually trying to experience it for what the experience is pretending to be, right? The long lap count race kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which, again, I understand going for that. It would have made 10 times better as a setting change than it would its own event. Because I like the idea. I happily would play the 10-lap version. The money sucks, right? Both of us have money in the game, so it's great. But it adds to the why bother playing it factor for the more casual players.
Nobody should be playing them.
Again, it's literally... you're playing that one instead so that you don't have to look at the 3, 2, 1 twice, right?
It's the fact it's like 2 new races a week when one of them is the exact same race but it has more laps.
Like, even if it was something like...
So it's not 2 new races. It's 1 with 2 modes.
Imagine this, right? Imagine if... Again, these are things that are too intricate for them to ever do. But imagine if, instead... the normal hard ace, that increased the lap count 3, 6, 9, and the leaderboards were done on best lap time rather than total time. That would fix the problem, because one, you'd only have to do it one time each lap count through for normal hard ace. The lap counts increasing would basically just mean that, one, you'd get more money for actually playing more, and you'd you'd be able to change. You want to play it with just 3 laps? Sure, play it on normal. You want to play it on 9 laps? You're that kind of racer, play it on ace. That removes the even more intricacy of saying 20 laps and the game exploding, because the game is badly. But the endurance is definitely it's a weird way of going about it. Again, I like the idea. The concept of the update, great. Execution, but you could say that for literally every update.
That's most of the crew too.
Yeah. They really have been the king of half-baked updates, which, I mean, I've gained 50,000 subscribers off half-baked updates. I started uploading at the chase. The start of the half-baked updates.
That's where your bias comes from.
Yeah. So it's like, clearly they work, but I think I'm still allowed to admit that they're half-baked, But from there, I guess, we talked about the events. We can talk about the cars. We've got a few on screen right now. So we'll run through the motor pass first. And the motor pass, I believe, starts with the Zonda Primary Edition.
Yeah.
That thing, I want to say it's growing on me, but it's kind of meh. It's
a Zonda with a pinstripe and a wing.
Yeah, it's like a slightly unique pinstripe, which is kind of whatever. But it's also got, like, nothing? I don't know.
It's got a wing. Really different.
The design looks like the Google Chrome logo every now and then, so it looks like it's got, like, the McLaren Chrome, Google Chrome rims. And some people like it. It's just such a whatever. Which, to be fair, at least it's not as whatever as the last car we're going to talk about in the Motor Pass. As far as the Motor Pass cars,
honestly,
it's not lost.
I think I've kind of talked myself into liking the last one more than the other.
Well, we'll get onto that one then.
It's like a so bad is good kind of thing.
I guess I get what you mean. But this one's a hypercar tier 1, tier 13. I might get these numbers wrong, but I'm still chase-headed, I guess, right? Tier 13, I think it's tier 13. Is that the C8?
No.
Oh, wait, I think I have it in the description of, not this video, obviously. Yeah, it is the C8. It is the C8. Yeah. I can't say much else other than, pretty...
It's a great sounding, looking, and handling car.
Yeah, like, it's really good. It's weird that it's in the Motor Pass, if anything, right? Like, you're not going to be able to get that once this is gone, which kind of sucks, because it's a pretty cool car.
It is weird that it's in the Motor Pass now.
Because it's a pretty stock car, yeah.
Is there a C8 in touring car normally?
No, there isn't. So this will be the only... I think we barely get this. The last time we got this was, like, the Combi Bus Monster... The DeLorean Drift was the last time I want to say we got this. Like, the only one in that spec.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like...
I forgot that Motor Pass existed.
Yeah. It's because it's like the Nissan Touring... So we got the Nissan GTR Touring, and then the Forsberg one was in the Motor Pass. It's not even like that. It's just the base level, really cool touring car put into the Motor Pass.
I mean, Motor Pass is bucks now, so does it really matter?
Yeah, the only time it'll matter is once this Motor Pass is gone and you've got to wait 2 years.
Essentially costs $1 million.
Yeah. But the only thing it really contributes to is the fact that, once this Motor Pass is done, you're not going to be able to get this pretty cool car, right? Like,
you'll be able to get it in like 2 years when they release it in the shop.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, right? Like, you're going to have to wait 2 years now for this car to come back, when it's, honestly, like, I don't think it's, handling-wise, it's not great, but, like, itself, it's a really cool car. And it's always nice when we get touring car Motor Pass cars, because specs like touring and rally raid and stuff like those barely ever get anything anymore.
What do you mean? Loads of content for those.
Yeah. It's nice seeing something that isn't straight. But then the best car in the entire update at tier, I want to say 25, something like that. At tier
something like that.
25, the best car in the entire update is the Mini Checkered Edition. It's the Mini Cooper S Checkered Edition at tier 25. And it is by far the best.
Is the KTM not Motor Pass?
No, it isn't. No, it's a shop car.
Ah.
So we'll get onto the shop cars after this.
Because in all the promotional material, it's there in that image, it's with the two
To be
motor
fair, I'm
cars.
realizing that this is a bad image because this image includes a shop car in the. Yeah, no, you're right. I guess. Yeah. It's not even the promotional images. It's my images that have misled you. To be fair, they are. So at the time of recording, obviously the update isn't out. The other cars that you're thinking, the Celine, the Spiker, those have been in the promotional work as well. Those are also not Motor Pass.
Those are just too bad.
Exactly, they wouldn't be, right? The KTM's high profile enough, I guess, right? But speaking of high profile, the Mini Cooper S Checkered Edition
is so cool.
It's what the Glow Motorsport should have been. We have since the USB tour complained about the Glow Motorsport. It's a hatchback with a massive spoiler, a front spoiler. It's so cool. It's in Rallycross.
I don't know why it's clearly slammed to the ground. I don't know why it's in Rallycross.
It's clearly a hill climb, a professional racing, hill climb spec. It's got the massive spoilers. Like, it made zero sense for that car to be in a Rallycross. Yep. And then, this thing, a hatchback, got a massive spoiler at the back. Sorry, 2 spoilers at the back, 3 spoilers at the front, and then is in touring car and has one of the thickest wide bodies in the game. Like, it's literally... It's one of the best cars in the damn game at that point. Like,
visually, it is very, very, very cool.
Yeah, it's so good. Unfortunately, handling doesn't suit handling. But like, it is such a good car, man. Like, it's one I could drive whenever. It's so good. Unironically, it saves the update. My light's bugging out, so you can swoon over the checkered Mini for a minute.
The livery is quite low texture, but that's like a Crew 2 problem.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, visually, it's on par with the Glow Motorsport Focus RS/RX, whatever it's called.
But actually works.
But actually in a usable spec.
Yeah. In a spec where it makes sense, It's not as bad in that spec as the Glow Motorsport is in its own spec, right? Like, the Glow Motorsport unusable in its spec. This thing, it's bad, for sure. Nothing a few pro settings couldn't fix, though. Like, again, on wheel, it's really satisfying to use. Genuinely such a good car. And from such a good car to a tier above that somehow, at tier 37, is the Audi RS5. The Audi RS5 USB Tour Official Edition. I don't even have an image of it. But this thing is very funny.
You don't need an image. It's a blue RS5 with a slight wide body, and then it's got a USB tour livery.
Yeah, that's the whole car.
That is the car.
Like, it's not even doesn't have a headlight punched out. It's got nothing on the rear. It's got nothing on the hood. It's got nothing on the roof. It's got nothing on the sides. It's not got anything like any of one of the other cars we're going to talk about when we get onto the summit. It's literally just an Audi RS5 with the most basic body kit. Admittedly, if it wasn't a Motor Pass car, a pretty nice looking body kit. It doesn't justify it being a Motor Pass car, but on its own, a pretty nice looking body kit. But for a Motor Pass car, the Zonda's
bad because it's just bad. The RS5's so bad, it's kind of cool.
The Zonda's trying. That's why I feel the Zonda's kind of bad, because the Zonda's trying. Yeah, they put a
unique wing, and it's got unique pinstripes and stuff on it. Someone actually said, I was like, yeah, this looks great.
Yeah.
They just slammed the USB 2 Edition RS5 together in 3 hours, and I'm like, yeah. This will fit.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be a
it's like it was meant to be a shop bundle thing.
Yeah.
And they've just stuck a wide body in the car and called it a day.
Which, to be fair, I guess in Crew 2 fashion, it is a unique wide body, I guess, right? You'd have to go out of your way to make it... I had to take off the livery, because the livery, you can see the wide body less with the livery.
Clowning on the Z4 Agent Edition for being ununique and unoriginal.
But to be fair...
compared to what they come up with now, that would be... a stroke of genius.
The Z4 was just a spoiler. Come on now.
But it's unique.
True. No, that's true.
I think it's wide body as well. Wide body with a spoiler.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Was it not?
No, so the gimmick was spoiler, but the rear light went onto the spoiler, it was like a one strip
Is the
light.
roof down on it though as well? Or?
Base M40i is also roof down.
Okay.
It was literally just a spoiler. See,
It's
now...
red. It's red. At least it has a spoiler. It was a cool one as well. The light went around it and it changed. The light changed.
This is some revisionist history is what this is. This is some maybe I was too hard on the Z4.
I take it back. I take it all back. Every previous Motorsports and Summit kind of spoken bad about, I take it back.
The Z4, terrible, and the Audi RS5, pretty bad, but I'd rather use it over the Z4 Agent. Actually, I don't know if I even
the Z4
believe
Agent's cooler. The Z4 Agent is cooler.
Long term, I'd probably use the Z4 more.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if the Crew 2 was to go on for another year, right, and in PvP, when I'm just scrolling through cars, I'd use the Binley Mega Chippy Z4 more. So, yeah. But that's the whole Motor Pass. All in all, Corvette's cool, Mini's very cool, Primary Zonda, Audi, and that's pretty much the whole Motor Pass. The Audi might look good with a livery on it. I don't fucking know.
No, it won't. You can't change the
But
colour.
very surprisingly, I think a Crew 2 record, 3 new models of car on launch, shop editions.
Wouldn't one of the agency game or chase or something like that though?
They always released like one. They released I think I could probably find it eventually.
I don't think you need to go find it, to be fair.
It wouldn't be worth it, no, if I went to go find it. But no, they would have like they'd have like the base version of a car. So they'd have one in the Motor Pass, and then they'd have the base version of it in the shop. This is the first time we've seen 3, which I guess you could say quote-unquote unique. They are, yes, they are. Okay, this is how I'm going to defend this. They're not just the Crew 2 put them in touring. They are, but the Celine, even the Celine, it isn't just the Celine S1, it is the actual touring model of the Celine S1. Like the real-life touring model.
Yeah, but the real-life one, it's just a Celine that's stuck a spoiler on it.
Now I blame real life for that. When we review real life, we can knock them down a point for that. But yeah, so so what we've got is I guess we'll run through them one by one, because the first 2, meh. Spiker, pretty funny, I want to say. Bad, but pretty funny.
The POV, I think, is broken. And was it the Celine or the Spiker?
I forget.
Because you're way too... they're both the same car, essentially.
Yeah.
But you're way too close to the wheel. Like, you can't...
Same color scheme, coincidentally.
Yeah.
So they just bled together in the mind. Spiker, really goofy. Celine, if you like... I mean, I like the car in street, so it's like, sure, you know, but...
Celine enjoys loving it.
Yeah, but like, whatever, right? It's just a Celine in touring. It's nice that we got it, I guess, right? They're just dumping cars, I guess, right? Then we've got one of the actual cooler ones, the KTM Expo. So the KTM Expo, they must like the KTM and the Crew 2. I thought Bugatti and the Crew 2 were 2 hand in hand. We got like the Expo way back when. Then we got the Expo in Alpha GP. Then we got the Expo in Touring Car. Then we got the Expo in Hypercar. Now we've got the Expo again in Touring Car. Like, which is cool, I guess. We've now got the GT4 was the one we had before. Now we got the GT2, which is like the GTX in Hyper, but in Touring Car.
But it's got spoiler. Hi.
If you liked the car in Hypercar, which I did, you probably like it in Touring, I guess. You know, it's...
Only the most original additions from the Ivory Tower.
They are technically unique models. And 3 of them on launch is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But from something rather mundane to something rather what even, where even, why even, we move on from that to the Motorflix Arena.
I don't know where Motoflex got the money for this.
And that's what I wanted to talk about before, right? So you're telling me Netflix got together with what? 3 hill climb. I can't even name 3 hill climb companies, right? Like 3 racing companies, right? Like what? So
maybe FireRed had a big budget. I don't know.
Yeah, the FireRed must have sold like hotcakes, like right, like Netflix got together with what I guess like McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull, and whatever. I guess Red Bull's in the game, but they just got together with 3 racing teams and had the money to terraform. What is this, Dubai? Like
I don't want to know what the plan permission for this looked like.
They would have to like. Well, one, they'd have to build an island, which Dubai's already shown is a terrible thing to do. Trees, wildlife, how many years of development would this take? This feels like one of those things that you heard that they were starting in like 2000s, right? Your dad in 2000s goes, oh, did you hear they're making this? It's gonna be done by 2025. And then when it comes out in 2025, turns out it's shit because it's an idea from the 2000s. Like, it's that kind of thing. It's like this would take millennia of development, which thankfully we're in a video game, I guess. It's just a fun thought, but it's pretty cool. It's weirdly really cool for what it is. Like there's the underwater, it's got no place. It's so weird because it's so good, but it's got no place in this update. It's just got
I don't.
It's not even like a headquarters or anything. It's just got the names of the different companies: Glow, Sparrow, Pulse, Spear. I remembered those. That was crazy. But it's got the name of the 3 companies, and then it's just a bunch of tracks.
Yeah.
It's cool. We drove around it.
It is cool. Like, I mean, I can't deny that.
But it's so unfathomable to think of. It's like, just go on it and play it, I guess. Right? Like,
it's there for sure.
It's like...
This late into the game is quite odd.
That's one of the weird things. Right, so yeah. An island expansion this late. So, what I talked about, I'll expand on this. I talked about this in the Stick Drift video. You know... It's weird to give so many more reasons, because Crew 3 is going to be by the end of this year. You know, this comes out right now, right? This feels like more and more things to do this. You want to start winding down on a game, right? This feels like one of those things that, you know, people play the Crew 3, hopefully it's good, but if the Crew 3 is bad, people are straight away going to be like, oh, I'm going back to the Crew 2. I want to drive around on the Motorflix Arena or whatever, right? Like... It feels weird to gear up rather than gear down when you're winding down a game. And to just plop an island. Something must happen with it. It's weird. You know what? Whatever.
It might episode 2, but
Maybe, because we don't know what's going to happen with that. The USB tool was just a color scheme change. So, I don't have much faith. Maybe that'll be the wind down.
It might be an unused asset from Forsberg.
It's true. Actually, that's probably... Really, there is a chance that it was just something they wanted to do.
It was a different design for one of the arenas that just plonked in the ocean, like, whoa.
And you know what? Maybe it's just because I keep saying it. It really feels like they're hand in hand with Forza. Because this is very reminiscent of Forza's Hot Wheel Island. I get the feeling more and more every day that they are just really in bed with Forza. Like, especially with something like this. Because if it's not, they're just zero self-awareness copying. If it's not that they're, like, partnered with them at this rate.
I mean, it is kind of copy anyway, but yeah.
Exactly, right. But if you know, if Forza are helping them, then it's whatever. But if they aren't in bed with Forza, it feels like that, right? It feels like the built-up hype from the Hot Wheels Island capitalizing on that, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But something a bit more, something I actually want to say is just pretty good is the long-term viability of this update, and some of the other stuff we can talk about one by one and whatnot. Is, again, it's only an 8-week update, which is always appreciated, because sometimes the Crew 2, the absolute imbeciles, will go for 10 weeks when the updates...
10 weeks bad.
Exactly, right? There's been updates that were, I want to say, 9 weeks and 10 weeks. So almost 5 months. Like, what?
Yeah.
But we got the roadmap for this update. We begin with Shamrock Celebration, which obviously, I believe that's for what, St. Patrick's Day.
That is a day.
That's the one. On the first summit, we obviously got all of the other stuff, whatever. Then we've got, I genuinely want to say, one of the best summit cars we've ever gotten. It's pretty good.
It's one of the best in a very long time, at least.
Yeah. So, again, in the video, I compared it to how we got the last summit was the clumsy, and then 3 reruns. And then to get this thing... So, I'll skip the mid-summits, right? April Fool opening, that's going to be a fully mixed summit. Wheel Clash, whatever. The Agency, whatever. Oh, yeah, Agency cars returning. I guess we'll talk about that. But we'll skim over that for a split second. But then I skimmed over those 3 summits because, just to talk about the summit cars, one of the best updates we've ever had for summit cars. So we've got the Lucky Dragon. Both of us have driven. It's pretty cool. It's got like a little...
very slippery.
It's slidey, obviously, I guess, which just kind of sucks. Yeah, I'm used to the Crew 2 adding just shit cars at this point, handling-wise. But customization, sick. Body kit, noticeably, right? The spoiler, that's noticeably not a spoiler you can normally get. The punched-out headlights, the gold detailing, right? Stuff like that. Actually stuff that, unlike a certain Audi, you'd be able to see is unique. What
do you mean? Very, very unique.
Livery, I think a livery creator could do a pretty good job with that car.
Yeah.
The Magma Edition, huge. Like, one of the most asked for cars to return.
Used for the view count, yeah.
Since it came out, yeah.
It's not meta anymore, though.
Exactly, right. It would have been a lot cooler if it came back when it was still the best hypercar in the game. Kind of sucks, but whatever, right? But pretty sick car. Really sick that it's returning, and it's gonna be big. Like, it's gonna be big when it comes back. Then, like, a pretty cool looking one. We see this in the trailer, actually, so the back of it looks pretty nice. It's a really, like, boxy, old school build of the Coupe
It's like
Baby.
the Coupe Baby, but slightly different.
Yeah, and, like, yeah. I mean, yeah, a touring car, summit car is always appreciated. The last one we got was the, Duke Edition, right? Which,
That was literally so recolored Aston Martin. I don't even know what it's called.
At least this thing's slightly a bit more unique. That one just had like a bit of a pinstripe and like a connected spoiler, I guess, right? It had like the Jesco spoiler, like the shark fin kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then from that, the F12 TDF, again, a very asked for returning car, was the rarest car in the game, had a lot of hype from that. Yeah, this one's fine. It's coming back, and it's a hypercar, so again, it'll do really well, and I'll be filming for the next update by then. We'll be filming for the next update by then. So, yeah, I think all in all, like a really good roadmap for this update.
Yeah.
Especially with one new event every week. Thank God. I mentioned this. It's the first time we've had this since the first US Speed Tour.
Yeah.
Which, think about each one of these being 4 to 5 months. Contractor, American Legends, Dominion
I remember US
Frostburg.
Speed Tour being a year ago, ages ago. It's got to be like a year and a half now.
Yeah. You know, Dominion Frostburg. Then what we just had. Now we've come back.
Doesn't even deserve to be named. It's just whatever we had last.
It's good. It's one of the worst ones to name, right? Like, I can say the Agency
Into
the game.
Storm and into the Blizzard.
Blizzard Rush. So,
my bad.
Right, like, I can say Agency game, you know? I can't say Into the Storm and Blizzard Rush. I haven't even...
say Storm Blizzard, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I normally say. I call Storm Blizzard, basically. Into the Storm Blizzard, whatever, right? Even Dominion Forceburg, I got Dominion Frostburg, right? Like, that works. Really good roadmap. Obviously, we got the return of cars like the Bentley Miller Bacala, Jaguar F-Type, Jaguar E-Type Convertible, Nighthawk. I already did a video on these. Yeah. Like, whatever.
I promised Rhino I would try and get world record on Wolf territory. Because I think I'm 5th at the minute, and I use the excuse of I'm using the Suzuki.
Well, now you'll have the Nighthawk.
Looks like I'm going to have to retire from the game before then.
Yep. Well, I believe that is just about it for everything we have to talk about on the update. Let us know in the comments what you think of the update. If you haven't watched, obviously, the SidWaj Empire has uploaded much on this, right? We've got DriftWaj, there should be 3 videos by now. The podcast, Christ. The podcast main channel. The main channel
if all
should
of
have
these
2
channels
videos.
are monetized.
I know, exactly, right. So, watch this 50 billion times.
Yeah, unless it's against TOS, then do not.
Unless it's against TOS, in which case don't. But if it isn't, watch this for the watch time so we can get monetized, get memberships, use the memberships to give you guys some extra content. That is going to be about it from us, though. Again, thanks to Ubisoft for giving us the update early. That was our full in-depth review of everything in the game. New. We'll see you boys in the next one. See you boys Sunday. Back on a regular episodes. That's about it from us. In a bit.